Hi, everyone. How's it going? Dr. Frankie Bashan here, clinical psychologist, board certified sex therapist, been practicing for over 2 decades, and I'm thrilled to be with you all on a weekly basis. Every Thursday, I release another video focusing on a really important topic that I think is worthy of covering, whether it be a topic that comes up repeatedly in my practice as a therapist or a matchmaker, coach, or it's something that somebody's written in asking for me to cover, or they're topics that we have actually over time collected stats on that are really popular and people continue to learn from, or topics where they evolve and things change in the industry, whether it be around sex, intimacy, communication, dating. It's all things relationship. That's what I love to cover. And so that we can learn tools and skills to live better, healthier, happier lives. So I'm just going to jump into my talk for today, which is getting started with impact play. So when we think about spicing things up in bed or trying something new, we're often considering exploring some form of power dynamic, whether it be kink activity, that sort of thing. Impact play, which includes spanking, caning, flogging, anything that involves a purposeful impact on the body during sex, is often the most accessible and approachable entry point. But how do you know if you're doing it right and ensuring that it's safe for all parties involved? Today, I'm going to explain what I recommend or make suggestions for people who want to get started with impact play, want to make sure they're doing it in a way that is safe and supportive. Getting started with spanking. The easiest and most accessible entry point to impact play involves no special equipment or really new skills at all. It's good old-fashioned spanking. And you know the basics already. Taking the flat palm of your hand open, right? Having an open hand. You strike a partner repeatedly on their bottom and or their backs of their thighs. For many people, this is an organic, fun, and easy way to get into impact play, and it may be as far as you ever feel you actually need to go. Spanking can be a pleasurable way for both you and your partner to experience the core physical and psychological sensations related to impact play. From a role playing perspective, spanking is often associated with discipline or light punishment. It may be something you introduce from a kink standpoint when someone has been bad, so to speak, maybe even on purpose or in order to get punished. If discipline is something that turns you on, there are a lot of fun ways to riff on spanking, making the spanky count off the strikes or say thank you after each one, or having them get into a specific position and wait patiently for their punishment, so to speak. Even if discipline and punishment aren't your thing, many people really enjoy spanking as a purely physical sensation on the plane of sadism and masochism. That's a tongue twister. If possible, discuss ahead of time what kind and intensity of sensation the spanky is looking for. Are they looking for light pain, like a 3 out of 10? Or do they want to work up to a 10 by the end of the session? How will your bottom signal to you that they need a break or that they need less intensity? The experience of being spanked is a warm, stingy sensation that's lightly painful at first and grows more so over time as the area being spanked gets sore, giving you a lot of flexibility to work with as you strike harder or lighter. It's best to build up the sensation over time, starting out lighter and striking harder as you progress. Test what different levels of intensity feel like on your own thigh before striking another person. You kind of want to get a sense, right? You can also vary where and how you strike someone. Over underwear versus bare skin, on the backs of the thighs as opposed to the bottom. Before getting more involved in any of the more equipment-heavy aspects of impact play, give spanking a try. Of course, there's plenty to be said for whacking someone with objects in a sexual context. And for some people, having some ritual and novelty around implements and accoutrements is part of what makes kink or BDSM really exciting. If this sounds like it's something you're interested in, exciting to you, I'm going to give you some suggestions and options to try. And these are DIY implements. If you and your partner are ready to upgrade from open-handed spanking, it's worth taking a quick look around your house before taking an expensive trip to the sex toy store. Some quick and easy household objects that can easily and safely be used for impact play are rulers or paint stirrers, wooden spoons or rubber spatulas, belts folded in half, back of a hairbrush, ping pong paddle, cheese or charcuterie board. Of course, if you're using anything on bare skin, it's helpful to be mindful of what can be easily cleaned or sterilized, like silicone versus metal versus glass, and what can't, wood, right? Especially if you're using implements that are also used for cooking. Anytime you're using implements for impact play, it's important to keep safety in mind. Always make sure you're focusing only on the bottom and thighs for any kind of impact play, where a concentration of muscle and fat means you won't hit any bones or vital organs. It's difficult to hurt someone badly with a wooden spoon as long as you stay in these areas, but it is possible to bruise or welt them more than they'd like, or even break the skin sometimes. Talk before a scene about how intense to go and whether your bottom is okay with marks or bruises. They won't be able to tell if this is occurring, so it will be the top's responsibility to monitor this and stop it if it looks like it's damaging or any damage is occurring, depending on what their comfort level is. Paddles and flats, flappy toys. If you loved using wooden spoons or rulers and you know you want more, it may be time to invest in a paddle. Relative to most other sex toys, paddles can often be fairly simple and affordable. Even just a light piece of finished wood with a handle will work really great. Though, of course, if you want something fancier with a worked leather handle, you're welcome to it. If you're at all handy, you may even find it satisfying to make your own, as simple as a woodworking project. Once you have your paddle in hand, practice on your thigh and something like a pillow to practice the motion and what level of intensity feels best. You may also be interested in exploring other slapping style toys. For instance, paddles also come in silicone rather than wood, making them easier to sanitize and offering a different sensation that may sting more for the recipient, as the silicone is more flexible. Sturdy straps or slappers are firmer than silicone but have more bend than a wooden paddle. Often the best of both a slap and a sting sensation. And looped style slappers are a great entry level option for people exploring impact play, as they offer a loud sound and stinging sensation but aren't heavy enough to cause much real damage. Canes, crops, whips, and stingy toys. For bottoms who know that they like a sharp, stinging sensation that leaves them gasping, maybe someone who identifies as a masochist, there's a whole other class of impact toys you may be interested in. Impact toys in the family of canes, whether they're rattan or a synthetic substance like acrylic or silicone, provide intense, focused sensation that can often be quite painful. Because these toys have a smaller, more focused surface area, they may also leave marks or bruises much more easily than a large paddle, which for some people is an actual plus. Whips are also an option for people interested in a targeted, sharp, stinging sensation. Although they have more of a learning curve to use them, a flexible silicone cane is a good starting point to whippier, more flexible toy when you are ready to try a true whip. Start with a shorter, thicker one if possible to help you learn technique and control first. Crops are also stingy and swishy while remaining fairly easy to control. With both canes and whips, practice using them on pillows to perfect before trying anything on your date, and be prepared to take constructive criticism after on what worked and what didn't. Everyone's different, right? They have different preferences, so don't take it personally. In-person classes or skill shares or YouTube videos from reputable players can also be a great resource for learning correct techniques, which is really crucial to protect both you and your date from unintended harm. Rods, thumpers, floggers, and Thuddy toys. In the same way that some of us like to feel deep bass vibrating through our bones when we listen to music, some people prefer a Thuddy sensation with deeper impact than a whip or paddle provides. Some toys designed for Thuddy impact are thick, round rods or thumpers, often made of leather or some slightly padded material to absorb some impact. Although they look more like a whip, many people also like floggers for this purpose. The weight of the fall combines a kind of Thuddy sensation with the option of a stinging sensation as well if you're able to target hitting someone with the very end of the falls. It's definitely a skill that needs to be learned and not necessarily what you should start out with, but can be very fun and satisfying for all parties involved. So definitely some ideas to explore. And if you're not ready to invest, right, and because these items also can be pricey, there are some DIY ideas that I suggested. And let us know how it works out for you. And yeah, I will see you all next time. And make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you'll get to see what I put out there every week, right when it gets released. So every Thursday, um, videos like this will get released. And I also have a podcast called Love, Laughs, and Lessons, where we have guests talking about all different topics related to sex, intimacy, dating, and so on. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Kisses, hugs, everybody. Take good care.